Dare you to come to the old mall tonight? The text message glowed on Sarah's phone. It was from Jake, the prankster of their group. The old mall had been deserted for years, rumoured to be haunted. Double dog dare! Jake's reply popped up almost instantly. She glanced at her friends Emily and Ben, their faces mirroring her own apprehension and excitement. They met Jake outside the mall, the building looming over them like a sleeping giant. A single flickering streetlight cast long, dancing shadows.
You guys scared?
Jake chuckled, his bravado failing to hide a slight tremor in his voice.
Let's just get this over with.
Emily muttered, pushing past Jake and towards the entrance. The doors creaked open as if groaning in protest after years of silence. The air inside was thick with dust and the smell of mildew. It was colder than it should have been, sending goosebumps rippling across Sarah's skin.
This place gives me the creeps.
They walked down the centre aisle, their footsteps echoing through the vast emptiness. Stores lined the corridor, their metal shutters pulled down tight, displays gathering dust behind grimy windows.
Remember when this place used to be packed?
Emily asked, her voice echoing strangely in the silence.
Yeah, I used to love coming here with my parents.
A distant crash made them all jump.
What was that?
Sarah whispered, her voice tight with fear.
Probably just a rat.
Jake said, trying to sound brave, but his face was pale, and his eyes darted around apprehensively. They continued walking, their pace quickening. The further they went, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. The silence was broken only by the sound of their own breathing, and the occasional drip of water from a leaky pipe somewhere in the darkness above. It felt like the walls themselves were watching them, their shadows stretching and twisting in the dim light. They reached an intersection, the ghostly glow of an exit sign casting an eerie green light.
Let's just turn back.
Ben pleaded, his voice trembling.
Yeah, this isn't fun anymore.
Emily agreed, her eyes wide with fear. But before he could respond, a giggle echoed through the mall. It came from a nearby store, a children's clothing shop. They slowly approached it, their hearts pounding in unison. The metal shutters of the store were slightly ajar, and through the gap they could see a single mannequin, dressed in a child's party dress. Its head was turned towards them, its painted-on smile taking on a sinister quality in the half-light.
Did that thing just move?
As they watched, the mannequin's head slowly turned, its vacant eyes seeming to follow them. They all gasped and stumbled backward, fear gripping them like a vice.
This is getting really creepy.
We need to get out of here.
They turned to leave, but Jake was gone.
Jake, where did he go?
They looked around frantically, but there was no sign of him.
This isn't funny, Jake.
Ben shouted, his voice a mixture of fear and anger. They searched for what felt like hours, their calls for Jake swallowed by the oppressive silence. The air grew colder and the shadows seemed to deepen, closing in on them.
He's gone. We need to get out of here, now.
They ran back the way they came, their footsteps echoing in the vast emptiness, but the familiar landmarks seemed to have shifted, the corridors twisting and turning, leading them further into the mall's depths.
I think we're lost.
They reached a large atrium, the glass ceiling above shattered, allowing the moonlight to filter through in dusty beams. In the center of the atrium stood a carousel. Its once brightly painted horses now faded and peeling, their eyes staring blankly ahead. And standing beside the carousel was Emily.
Emily, we were so worried.
But as they got closer, they saw that something wasn't right. Emily's eyes were vacant, her face pale and expressionless. She turned to them, a slow, deliberate movement that sent shivers down their spines.
Emily, are you okay?
Sarah asked cautiously, taking a step back. Emily didn't answer. She just stared at them, her face devoid of any recognition.
This is messed up. We need to get out of here now.
They turned to run, but the exit was gone, replaced by a wall of mirrors. Their reflections stared back at them, distorted and grotesque. They were trapped. The mall held them captive, its grip tightening with every passing moment. The air grew thick with fear, making it difficult to breathe. They were alone, lost in a labyrinth of shadows and echoes, haunted by unseen eyes. Sarah sank to the ground, her back against a cold, dusty wall. She could feel the life draining out of her, replaced by a numbing despair. She looked up at the shattered ceiling, at the sliver of moon shining through the broken glass. It seemed to mock her with its distant beauty, a cruel reminder of the world outside, a world she would never see again. The last thing she remembered was the sound of Ben's scream, echoing through the mall, swallowed by the darkness. Then there was only silence, the haunting silence of the mall, a silence that would last forever.